I know you're confused. Most people do not know what kind of fat to eat to be in ketosis or to do low carb, high fat, or even a carnivore diet. So let's get into it. The type of fat really does matter. When you're doing a ketogenic diet, you want to have animal fat. But if you're doing a carnivore diet, which truly undercover is still a ketogenic diet, just one has plants, one doesn't. You want to drive ketosis because still to this day, people still do not understand who do carnivore that eating a bunch of protein, you don't have enough digestive equipment to break down 2 pounds of beef. I had a consultation today with a guy who was eating 2 pounds of beef and he developed hemochromatosis, which is high ferritin levels, high iron levels. Y'all have to be very, very careful from the advice that you're getting online because everything matters and the individual matters. You want to have animal fat. You don't want to have high protein, ever. Don't need it. The goal is not high protein. The goal is always going to be high fat. You can have butter, ghee, beef tallow, lard, pork belly fat, lamb fat. These would be your main fats. Fats that come in the form of chicken fat are higher in omega-6, not the best type of fat. And then you have your plant fats like coconut oil. Even though it's a saturated fat, it doesn't have the fatty acid profile that we have in our own body. People make ketones when they eat, and viable, not just ketones. Anyone can make ketones. They have to be in a sweet spot range, 1.8 to a 3.0 with stabilized blood sugar, and you got to use them, so you can't pee them out. If you have ApoE4 gene mutation, or if your gallbladder is junked up and you're trying to do a carnivore diet, eat a lot of fat without eating a bunch of protein, you might fail miserably. What ends up happening when people don't eat fat, they always overconsume protein, and then you have the problems with high uric acid levels, high iron levels, high B12. And if you have leaky gut, having these high nutrients in the bloodstream because the body's not absorbing it is a serious, very serious problem. Animal fats don't have high protein, have high animal fat. Now the only type of people who can't do animal fat is if you have a junked up gallbladder, which I've spoken at ad nauseum. Right now we're just covering the types of fats. Okay, can you eat plant fats for the short term as you fix the gallbladder on carnivore or keto? Yes. Olive oil, high quality, dark bottle, glass. The bottle should be covered. You can do, oh, that's a fly. And that's my air conditioner kicking on. You cannot make this shit up. I really don't have time to wait for my air conditioner to kick off, so I'm going to keep talking. You need to do plant fats because they don't have the long chain triglyceride structure that you would have in tallow or butter or lard or lamb fat. You don't need so much of a gallbladder to break down plant fats like you do animal fat. And then you reach that quagmire that if you have plant fats, you don't really get into a stable, continuous, ketotic state. Now it can help the brain think that you're not starving because now you've moderate to low protein and now you're doing a bunch of plant fats. But at the same time, it might be like stop the thyroid from freaking out, but you're not going to get into ketosis. You might produce some ketones, but they're not going to stabilize. Animal fats, keto, carnivore, done. Gallbladder issue, you could do 1 tablespoon, which is 15 grams of a animal fat with protein and like a steak or meat, fatty meat, and a few tablespoons, like 2 or 3 of olive oil until you fix the gallbladder, which again, it is like massaging it and sitting up straight, castor oil, TUDCA, lipase, taurine, bitters. I mean, there's a bunch of strategies. Milk thistle. Okay, back to the fats. If you're doing a ketogenic diet, same thing. Carnivore, keto, again, interchangeable. But what about low carb, high fat? Same thing, animal fats. Unless you decide to do low carb, high fat, which is still starch based because your gallbladder is screwed up. You tried keto, carnivore, gallbladder felt crappy. Then you could crank up the olive oil, the coconut oil, the avocado oil if you don't have a sensitivity to it, with a wee bit amount of animal fat, because you don't want to stop. You need to get that gallbladder working again if you have one. Those are the fats. Now, what if you have a sensitivity to one of the fats? Most people have a histamine response to dairy, butter, cream, ghee, cheese. Yeah. You have to test. Test to see if you have any inflammatory responses, or you could use a glucometer to see if your blood sugar spikes as an inflammatory response. Yeah. Butter is the real iffy one. Now, I have no problem with butter, so I'm good to go. Sometimes just making sure it's grass-fed can fix the problem, but if not, there's beef tallow, there's pork lard. If you can't find pastured pork fat, then try to get to pastured pork belly, cook it, render it, and now you have buttery belly fat, which is softer and creamier than the back fat, which they make lard out of, I believe. Well, is ghee the answer? Now, some people they feel better with ghee. Like if you take out the whites of an egg and just eat the yolk, some people feel better, some people don't. You can try to use ghee, and if that doesn't work, you're gonna have to switch to a beef tallow or a lamb fat. If you have a problem with pork, beef tallow, most people can tolerate beef tallow. If their gallbladder is working, they have less of a histamine response because bacteria doesn't grow very well on pure fat. I know. Should you rotate? Oh, my air conditioner kicked off. Should you rotate your fats? Yeah, if you can. If you cannot, understand that you're doing mono fats because you might have histamine, you might have gallbladder. But those are the fats. We'll go more into fats in another video because I got to edit this and go to bed. Because too much is going on in my humble life. Yes, and I'm moving my mother to a nursing facility because she cannot walk anymore because of the schmacks. And then I'll break it up and say "een." Do the math. But she's really excited to move down here next to me. I need to be near my mother. She's 81, near the end of her life. I shouldn't be driving 2 hours. I moved so far to come to Tennessee to be near my mother. And so, yeah, pretty excited. Comment below. Are you confused about what type of fat? Do you have a gallbladder issue? Are you doing low carb, high fat? Yes. Do you think that coconut oil is going to put you in ketosis, or MCT oil? No seed oils, by the way. Comment below. Share this content. If you need a consultation, you can go to stephanieperson.com. It's in the show notes. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. Show notes. Facebook fan page. Show notes, I believe. I have a course where I cover all 3 diets, and a lot of people in that course are like, what do I do? I'm going to do low carb. I'm not trying to be ketotic. Do I have to eat a bunch of animal fat? No, but it's just preferred. A lot of people are asking about ghee, if they have a butter sensitivity, and what does histamine feel like? How does it present itself? And what if tallow tastes so nasty? How do you make it taste better? I got a lot of tips and tricks on my course page, stephanieperson.com. If you need to book a consultation, I got your back. Calendar's wide open. And I'm out. Energy-ish. I always have energy, but my body is like, girl, you have done too much today.